Evening, everybody. I hope you are feeling well. I want to talk about what went on today and what I plan for the short future. I got my new microphone. If you saw earlier, I did a test with it, and man, you won't be having any trouble hearing this thing. So when I do some of my history videos, hopefully we'll have a much higher sound quality. Mainly volume seemed to be the problem, and that Yeti mic I got today cured that problem. Woo-hoo! It also sits nicely on my desk, so real excited about that. I'm married well. That was my wife's gift to me. She saw me suffering with the old microphone. Anyway, made some progress on Stagecoach, got the trim painted. Still got to make some decals for it. Unfortunately, a bunch of parts for the harnesses for the horses were missing. This is the danger of buying an open box kit. I say $40 doing that, but paying for it and stuff I'm having to fabricate. However, my wife is also, she does the dolls and everything, and she knows how to shape leather and stuff, and she had all the leather and everything we needed, so we're actually making some of the components out of real leather, and they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all, and they're actually easier to deal with because some of the parts don't fit that well. I've been fighting with those, I don't know what you call them, the big harness part that hangs around the horse's neck and sits on its shoulders, the big rigid leather thing. And it had two of them, but two were missing, so I'm making those out of real leather. And well, close enough. I mean, and ooh, you know, you soak the leather and then let it and get it to place, let it dry, and it dries in shape. So anyway, a little bit of work on the swordfish, not much. I'm letting that stuff harden because somebody used a little too much glue. Despite, anyway, I got to give it a couple of days to really harden before I can finish mounting the wings, and I'm going to be done with that. Haven't even touched the K torpedo plane. Did get the selection. I'm sorry, I'm holding this because I'm ready to move on to other things. I want to get these done. They're kind of bedraggling, and this is one of the kits that Mr. Hamilton sent me. Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. And this is that XP50. And I thought what I might do is, this is a nice, simple, straightforward build. So when I'm done with all this stuff that's like super detailed, super intense, this will be a nice, easy, straightforward build. Because sometimes what I call the relaxing build. And I'm not sure if I want, as we mentioned earlier, it has the incorrect decals. It was never marked up like this. When they made the kit, that's probably how planes were being marked when they made the kit. So they just looked out the window and said, well, that's how the Americans paint them. Let's do it like that. But I do have period correct decals I could use, but I'm kind of thinking have a little fun with this and just relax. And what I might do is, even though this aircraft was never adopted, if it had been, it would have made a pretty decent ground attack airplane. What if it had seen service in Korea like the F-7 Tiger Cat did? So I might go ahead and use the stars and bars that are in here and paint it in like a Korean War era what if sort of paint scheme, something like that. It's a neat little model by ODK. I don't think I've ever built an ODK kit, so it'll be interesting to track it, or to do a build montage on it. So anyway, this is going to be my when I'm done relaxing build, and put it right there on top of that little stack. And I think I want to get to work on one of the cars also, but not rushing myself. That's really about all that's going on. I would really like to get this Stagecoach wrapped up and to the owner, because even though it's largely consolidated now, when you build a kit that big, it just eats up a lot of physical space. This is what you might call the dominant kit theory if you're like me and you often have more than one project going at a time. It just sort of sucks all the oxygen out of the room because it's so physically big, it takes up so much space, and it's so complicated. It takes a lot of your concentration. And I love having the challenge of building it, and it's something new, but you get to that point where you start seeing daylight and you're kind of like, okay, I think I'm ready for this to be completed. And that's when you have to be careful, because you don't want to rush it. I mean, I hand painted all the trim on it today because I don't have any decals for it. And the trim is based off some photographs I saw, and it's hard to paint a Stagecoach wrong because they were painted so many different ways. So this was off one that I saw, but I'm going to have to fabricate some decals for it. But once that puppy's done, on to more relaxing builds. And I'll bet if you've ever built a model for a friend, someone gave you a kit and said, build this for me, I'll bet you are more stressed out building for them than you are for yourself, because it's more important to do a better job for someone else. If you're working for yourself and you make a boo-boo, clean up, whatever. But if you're doing it for somebody else, you really want it to be perfect. And at least that's the way I am. So, well, that's really about it. Got the visiting family went on home, so tomorrow we're back to our regular schedule. And, well, hopefully we'll be around for coffee in the morning, and we will see you guys later. You have a wonderful evening.